Hi, everybody. Welcome to Adulthood with Arlene. I'm your host, Arlene. If you haven't been on my channel before, please make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment. I have many playlists. Please go check them out. There are different there's performances of me from my past singing, interviews that I do, co-hosting with my friends, and so much more. Now, let's get right into the message for today. Let's get started. When we were younger, as children, while still living under our parents' roof, life somehow seemed less complicated. You might agree, because pretty much when we're little children, we're at the mercy of our parents in need of everything. In those early years, sometimes I miss them. I'm sure sometimes you feel that way too. Because as we get older, we will naturally start growing up, questioning, discovering everything. But in comparison to the latter years, as it is when we are coming into adulthood, all things that seem so simple, now life becomes more complicated. For some of us, as young people, we didn't concern ourselves, obviously, about bills, about cleaning a house, a home, or anything like that. We got up, we brushed our teeth. Mom or dad had, or mom or dad had food on the table, let's say breakfast, and we got ready to go to school. For most of us at that young age, dinner was going to be on the table that evening. No matter what it was going to be there. And when coming from school, whether mom was the one at home or someone else was taking care of us, there would be that snack waiting for us. Life never seemed complicated as it became later on and does become in our lives. And while in teenage years, we start becoming aware of our surroundings, our circumstances at home, the stressors that might be affecting a mom or a dad or your guardian. But no matter what, still, most likely, our parents, our guardians would keep us from knowing too much so that we will not be stressed. I eventually suffered trauma, verbal abuse, and a lot of emotional stability at home. But prior to that, again, nothing seemed to be complicated. One might say, but when we become adults, a new word that we're using now, adulting, starts becoming so true. I always found that word to be weird, but I understand. I understand what it means, and so do you. There's some of us that never seem to grow up even though we are adults. We never learn coping mechanisms. Many of us were surrounded by emotional instability. To some degree, there's always some dysfunction in our homes. And as children, we complained a lot. We want this, we have to have that, without, again, any conception or concept of how much something might cost or how that might not be possible or how your parents are doing the best they can. So, what happens when we grow up? If we don't snap out of that complaining and that kind of I don't know, clueless way of thinking or innocent way of thinking, then we will be in trouble. We will be more stressed out. We will not be able to keep our joy. And I believe that from time to time, we all regress to those memories of when. And while it's fantastic being an adult and making your own decisions, it's not always easy. And I find that if we, one day at a time, can seek a balance in our lives, a balance. It's really hard to say that when you have 4 kids, 2 kids, 1 child. I don't have any, but still, there is a lot I do. And I still have to learn to balance. That's an ongoing thing. so that I won't lose my joy, so that I'll be able to do some videos, which I struggle with time management lately. So we can also keep our joy by using godly wisdom. If you're serving the Lord, you seek Him, you pray, you be led by Him, and somehow you are able to prayerfully and trusting God and leaning on Him, and most of all, resting on Him. And we find the energy to push through towards any of these stressful situations in our lives, as there will be, for now we are adults. Now, don't get me wrong. There'll be moments in the day where I start dwindling off, thinking about either the future or the past, about, oh, am I going to be okay at retirement? Oh, if I have no children, who's going to take care of me if I need that kind of care when I'm old? Oh, who's going to take care of my husband if I go to be with the Lord first? Just so many of those, what if this, what if that? If something just happens, well, those thoughts go into most of our minds, and 100 other things come to our minds. But then I realize that I have to trust God, reel myself back, live in this moment. And while it doesn't mean not to prepare for a future, let's say financially, um, whatever stuff you have to do, a will, all that stuff is quite important. And I don't mean to sound doom and gloom, but even arrangements in the will for when you pass, all these things are so important. They will not only alleviate your stress because you have this all out and down on paper legally, but it also will allow, if you have children or your family, to be less stressed out when they have to do things and kind of tie up things for you or for I. Now, that's way future, I hope, for all of us. But it's something that we should and have control of doing now so that we won't stress. But in all these other day-to-day realities that we encounter, whether it's not managing our time correctly, whether it's things that come that stop us because they're just natural things that might happen. For instance, there was a hurricane yesterday coming to Florida. Whether it's having to go to a doctor's appointment, getting sick, there are things, life, that can stop us for a time from achieving or moving forward to do those things that we want to accomplish a day at a time so that we won't be stressed out. So we have to come to understand that as well. But adulting, that noun, is the practice of behaving in a way or characteristic, most of all, responsible, as a responsible adult, especially to accomplish the mundane and necessary things in our lives. There is power in knowing this and accepting it instead of regressing to complaining or the defeated mentality in which many of us can feel overwhelmed because life happens. And the more people you have in your home unit, if you have children or taking care of a parent or whatever the case may be, then the more you are involved and the more things you might have to be doing, man or woman. But please, if you take anything from this today, this short video, it's that I find my rest and my strength in the Lord. I find my wisdom in seeking Him. I find my joy in meditating on how far I've come thus far because of having Him in my life and my faith and believing and hoping and knowing and trusting. So I hope today this small, short My Thoughts video, as I call it, will inspire you to move forward, to seguir adelante, press forward, even though you're living a day at a time, a minute at a time. It's pressing forward into the adult that we are and being able to achieve and accomplish even new goals and new dreams, no matter how old you or I might be. Trust God. Trust that you're still individually made, even if the unit where you live in, the people you live with, your tribe per se, is a large one. Still, all in all, you're still an individual who God loves and has been created for purpose. Thank you for tuning in. This is Arlene again from Adelante with Arlene, hoping that you have a blessed day. Please don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, share my videos, and check me out on all the social media platforms. I appreciate you. Until next time, sigue por adelante.
Thank you for tuning in to Adelante with Arlene. Don't forget to subscribe to Adelante with Arlene and share my videos and inspire someone else.